All right, chapter 8. First of all, I want to say sorry if the audio quality sucks. I forgot my mic, and I'm all the way in Long Island, and going back for it would be like a 2-hour trip, so that's not happening. So I'm here at Hempstead Lake Park, and it's a cool place that I've recently discovered. It's really raining out, but it's a good vibe for this particular chapter. Ooh, the lighting is so much better. No, I'll stay in the shadows like a ninja. Like a ninja. Anyway, so last time I went out of the cons into the world, I did a lot of things in the fandom. So you're probably thinking, like, what is next? What is next for me to accomplish or conquer furry-wise, right? Well, I would say that I was looking for love, and I wanted to pursue things with Natasha. So we went on a date, and I took her on a boat cruise around the city. It was like dinner and dancing, and it was a red full moon, and it was beautiful. My hair looked like a mess. I was wearing a white button up, and my hair was so crazy. I tried to straighten it that day, but the forces of nature would not allow my hair to look good that night. So I thank her for putting up with me and how I looked. But it was an amazing time, you know. It was just dancing on a boat and, talking, getting to know her. I was just really excited for this. I was thinking that, this could be my first girlfriend. And she was really pretty as well. And I was just very excited. So overall, the date went well. And during that summer, this is the summer of 2012. This is Dream's last summer before he moved to the DR. And I was just spending as much time as I can with him because who knew how long he was going to be there for. And it's funny, that summer, me, Damona, and Dream were actually working at the movie theater together. It was pretty funny. So it was like a cool little group we had, working at Regal, shooting the shit. We were rarely like off the clock at the same time, but when we were, it was very nice and very special. So yeah, Dream was moving to greener pastures for school, and spent a lot of time just reflecting on all the great memories we had. And eventually I wanted to do like a going away party thing for him. So I gathered Yoko, Twilight, Xerxes, TDK, and of course me and Dream. And we went to Wildwood, New Jersey, and I rented a mini apartment for all of us because some of us were unemployed, some of us had money, so I figured to keep it fair, I'm going to pay for all of it. It was, 2 days, and I wanted to make sure everybody was there. Those were my closest friends at the time, and that Wildwood trip was amazing. It was one of the best weekends of my entire life. I've got footage of us just hanging out, drinking, acting a fool. I was watching it the other day, and it was making me emotional because I just missed everybody, and I missed those times so much. Yoko falling vertically on a couch, Dream, taking shots, riding the roller coasters, driving the go-karts while drunk or high. We were blasted, man. Like, there's a picture of us on the boardwalk and we all look fucked up. It is hilarious. I'll definitely be sharing some pictures from our trip. And it was just one of those memorable things that you'll never forget. Those memorable moments you have in your 20s, they're immortal. Just don't forget them. Don't forget who you grew up with and have these amazing memories with. And it was a blast. If I could relive any moment, that'd definitely be up there. And Dream did a little speech, little goodbye speech, and we all took a shot together, and it was beautiful. After the trip, we went to Philadelphia again. We got some cheesesteaks, and we visited another furry named Comet. He was working at a frozen Italian ice place. So we hung out with him for a little bit. So that was a cool little, quota or what's the word, epilogue to the trip. And yeah, Dream would soon be leaving, and it was hard for me to face it. You know, I think I downplayed in the video how important of a role he played in my furry life. You know, besides introducing me to so many great people, you know, he helped me come out of my shell, and you know, I followed in his steps fursuiting wise. I got a mixed candy suit like him, and we ran the New York Furs together. And he was just a good friend overall. You know, my mom treats him like a son. He's like family over here. And it was just going to be really hard to continue in my adventures without him. You know, I think that's part of the reason why I was growing distant from the fandom. I was starting to feel fatigue. I was getting tired of the cons and tired of, you know, just drinking and people hooking up. It was just starting to get old, and even fursuiting, you know, wasn't as exciting like it used to be. At this point, I had my suit for a year and a half, and you know, people would contact me and just be like, "Oh, I love Frisky. He's so cool and cute, and I want to hug him and cuddle him." But it's like, what about me? What about the person underneath the mask? Do I not matter? And people don't seem to think so. Somebody once got a commission of my character and their character, and he's like sniffing my feet. He did it without permission, man. And that really pissed me off. So even though it was nice that people were, you know, telling me that they enjoyed my performances and videos, there were some weirdos out there making it just off-putting and just like, man, like, this is even... I mean, it is worth it, but still. I just thought I would mention that. But we did go, me and Dream went to one more con together. It was FAU 2012. And that shit was the most boring con I ever been to, bro. Like, we had a bunch of NY Furs there too, and we still couldn't get things to be fun. It was so dead. It was like nothing to do. I was just like, why am I here? Like, I felt like I wasted money. The funny thing is, like, that con was like 45 minutes from my house. I ended up leaving early. The only thing that made it interesting, Xerxes brought the leftover booze from Wildwood, and we finished it. We drank it. But still, it was like such a lame con. And on top of that, Natasha was at this con. I think it was her first one. So I was like, I think I went for her. I went to support her, I believe. So I was like, let me be there, you know, make sure everything was cool. And then at one point, we're on a hammock together, and I asked her if she wanted to go on another date with me. And unfortunately, she said no. She's like, no, you know, I'm sorry, like, you're a cool friend and all that, but I think going out on another date is like a bad idea. Or she's just not interested or whatever. You know, it was a bummer, but I was like, okay, you know, I appreciate the honesty. At least she didn't lead me on. I would later find out, I guess the main reasoning behind that is she wanted someone that went to college and, you know, had more ambitions than, I guess, fur cons and, you know, traveling. You know, at this point I was starting to get a hunger, a taste for traveling. And that's what I wanted to focus on more. And she wanted more than that. You know, I respect it. Like, she's allowed to have different standards than I do. And I wasn't mad at her, you know. I mean, I definitely, you know, felt some type of way, but it wasn't as bad as my other rejections, you know, from Ron or Lobo or Kaz. So I just kind of took it on the chin and kept it moving. And we stayed friends, you know, like, genuinely, we stayed friends, you know. I wasn't there trying to, like, pull a fast one and change her mind. Like, no, we still hung out and stuff. So that was FAU 2012, the lamest con I've ever been to. I've been to like a small NY Furs con that was literally in one room. That was more fun than that. So the time has come, and Dream is finally going away to DR, and I ride the train with him all the way to the airport. I want to make sure he's not by himself before embarking on this journey, this new chapter in his life. And I got emotional, man. Like, I remember, I dropped him off and I cried. Like, I cried. Crying is rare for me, but, that was definitely a moment where I just let it all out. And, I played like a montage of greatest hits of all the stuff we've done, meeting him for the first time in Columbus Circle, him asking, "You want some of my nuts?" At the vendor, going to AC, going to Ocean City, the NY Fur meets, him just sleeping over my house and having all these conversations, us playing video games together, walking around Manhattan together, just these random trips, going to Inwood Park, eating Indian food. So many memories, man. Like, this guy was my best friend. And now he's gone. He's gone to a better place, the DR, which looks a lot like this. But it wouldn't be the last time I saw him. No, it would not. He would definitely come back. Funny, he actually came back like 2 months later for like paperwork and stuff, but let's just pretend he left. That was the time he left. So I had to think, like, all right, what's next for me? Like, what else do I do in the fandom? So I figured I'd set my sight on international waters. My goal was to go to Eurofurence because it's the largest international convention in the world. So that was my next goal. I'm like, I'm going to go to Eurofurence and see what the fandom's like over there in different languages. But before that, I went to Fur Fright that year, 2012. It was my 5th Fur Fright in a row. And that one was pretty shitty. Because let me tell you, I got strep throat before the con. Doesn't matter how I got it. I got strep throat before this con, and I was sick, man. I was like fucked up. That was my first time, and it sucks. It sucks getting strep throat. And at one point during the con, I woke up, and I was next to Twilight, and I had to text her because I couldn't talk. I couldn't talk anymore. And I'm like, hospital now. So I had to go to Hartford Hospital to get like steroids for myself. And they said if I waited any longer, they would have put a needle down my throat to like get rid of the swelling. I was like, what? It was insane. And then I'm on these medications and they're really strong. And Camo is at Fur Fright and he helps. He asked me to help him with the dance competition, like judging like preliminaries. So I go there and I'm like really like in a nice mood. Like, oh man, you guys are so good. You guys did great. You're so brave. I wish all of you can get in. I was jacked up, man. It was so funny. So by the time I felt better, Hurricane Sandy was happening and we all had to evacuate the damn hotel. I was like, yeah, I can finally party. It's Sunday. I have one more day. Let's do it. And Hurricane Sandy fucked that all up. I was like, oh, man. It's swamps. So that was my Fur Fright 2012. I think it was the last Fur Fright I attended. Yeah. I just went because it was a local con. It was very hit or miss, honestly. They get some ketchup chips, which I liked. I think I gave out condoms at that con too. You have no idea, man. Like, we have so many condoms from that one AC. I walked around like in an underwear and a bow tie. I was looking like really slutty, like a gigolo. I guess when Natasha like rejected me, I kind of went back to my old ways and started, fooling around again. I relapsed. It's like, I was supposed to like be straight and narrow path, but I failed. And then I just kept going to fur meets in Delaware too. And I had a Christmas party at my place, and everybody was there, kind of like doubled as a New York fur meet, and that was pretty cool. And I went to New Year's Furry Ball in Delaware. This is my second time. Yeah, it was my second time, and this time it was a little more fun. I was rooming with Xerxes and Brad Fox, and this other girl. I think her name was Calyx, or not Calyx, Calypso, something like that. But yeah, this girl was wild, man. She was like twerking in the bed and shit. And then I met these other people from Delaware, and I don't know how we met. We just talked. Talked to this one girl. She was there with her boyfriend and some other girls in her group. But it turned out she was polyamorous. And she was like, yeah, you know, she come to the hot tub with us. And I'm like, all right, sure. So I'm like in the hot tub with all these women at a furry event. You know, blows my mind to say that. And they're like flirting with me and they're groping me and stuff. I'm like, what is happening right now? I was shook. I was taken aback. And there was this really cute Spanish girl. I forgot what her name was. I think it was like Ellie or something. And I was like, yeah, she's mad cute. You know, I'm gonna see what she's about. And I kissed her when the ball dropped. And then you know, I'm talking to her, but she's like pining over the main girl. Her name was Melissa, the main girl's boyfriend. She's like, yeah, we could like do stuff, but you know, it'd probably have to be like him too, so like a threesome type thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I can't be the main character. I have to be a sidekick. But you know, it didn't go anywhere that night. I eventually just went to bed. I was like, all right, screw it. January, I went to my first anime convention in Ohio. I took a long ass bus to Ohio. It was like 12 hours. It's funny because I actually made a pit stop right behind the convention center in Pittsburgh. So I went into my favorite restaurant, which was a seafood place at the time, and got some buffalo shrimp. And I took a picture. I'm like, yo, I'm at AC, mad early. And I went to Ohio Con eventually with Ket and Ryu. And I dressed up and I met some cool furries there too. Anime cons, you know, they're a vibe. I mean, I did go to Dragon Con the year before, but this one I was like actually attending, and it was nice to like, you know, have people come up to me and be like, oh, you know, furries aren't so bad, and you look nice, and it's, you know, it's really refreshing, and I appreciated that, and you know, I made some friends too. So in February, I was making my first mark going international, and I decided to go to London because I met this guy named Blueberry Fox at the last Doodah parade I went to, and we were keeping in contact, and he invited me to London, and I was like, yeah, I'll go to London, you know, why not? So this was like my first time, you know, traveling. I mean, I did fursuit over there, but the main thing was like, I want to see the city. Like, London is beautiful. It's New York without all the garbage and pollution and, you know, homeless people everywhere. It is a beautiful city. The food is so good. I had the best hot chocolate of my entire life when I was there. I'll put the picture up. I'm just so happy. I'm just making this big ass cheese grid, like, and we had some really bomb Indian food. He took me to all the tourist traps, Piccadilly Square, Buckingham Palace, the London Bridge, all that. I went to pubs. Went to his family's house where we had like a legit dinner with like 5 different beverages. They gave me coffee, tea, champagne, maybe probably soda, like water, all these beverages in one meal. I was like, it's like, damn, here in America we're not eating right. We're slacking. I think we went to an amusement park. We did so many things. I love riding the train over there, and his boyfriend had to take over like the tourist duties because Blueberry actually got sick. You know, he found out he had like some problems with his legs and, you know, blood circulation. So I was left in the hands of his boyfriend, Bad Bunny. Yeah, the original Bad Bunny, not the singer. This guy's the original Bad Bunny. Like, he even has like, I think he even has merchandise of his name. And he was really nice. And not only did I go to London, I went to Paris. I made a friend on FA. Her name was Flo, and we started, we exchanged information, and I told her, hey, I'm going to Europe. Would I be able to hang out with you and your friends in Paris? She's like, yeah, sure, as long as I could do the same in New York. So it was like a foreign exchange type thing. So I took a train to Paris for a day, and I hung out with her and her furry friends. And it was so funny because a lot of the people there looked like bizarre versions of the New York furs. It was like hilarious. And some of them spoke English, some of them didn't. But what I did, I ended up fursuiting in front of the Eiffel Tower. I did a little dance video, and I busted my ass. You can check that out. But I just spent the day following them around. We went to the Louvre, went to Notre Dame, and then we had Japanese food in Paris. And then we ended the day at McDo, just McDonald's in Paris. But it was like so cool, just to see. I love seeing fast food places in different countries because their menus are always different, and sometimes they have cooler, just cool little quirks about them. So that was nice. And then before I went back to London, I went back to the Eiffel Tower to see it lit up, and I saw all these different locks. What they do is, let me show you, they would take a lock and put it on like right here for couples. That way their love will be forever locked in time. And it's better than sketching your name on like wood, in my opinion. It was very romantic, and I was like, man, I wish I had someone to be with right now. So on my way back to London, the passport guy was giving me a hard time because he just didn't believe that I had a flight out to New York. I had to like struggle to get my information, and this is 2013. I have like an iPhone 3, so I'm trying to like access the internet and like get my papers. Luckily he let me in on the train, thank God, or else I would have been stuck in London. So I also went to one of the London fur meets, which London furs are like a huge group. They're a huge deal. They have like boat parties and disco nights, and they're a huge group. So I got to fursuit with them, and I also made some friends there too. It was really nice. Those guys know what they're doing. They're legit. And before I left, I saw Alpha Fox again. That was the last time I ever saw him, or last time we ever hung out, I should say. I've seen him, but it was him and his mate, and we just had a pint. Had a pint at the pub. It was a good time, man. I'm glad I could see him again. Glad he's doing well for himself. And it was back to America, but my first taste of international waters was very good, and I definitely want to travel more in Europe and Australia. Like, this is where my love for travel began, I believe. I was there for like, I think a little over a week, but I loved it, man. I absolutely loved it. Just seeing new cultures and just the city life, and people there are so nice. It's so refreshing, but I always, when I touch down in New York, I always get the sense of, okay, I'm home. I feel good. Like, I'm like calm. It's like seen. The month after, it's March 2013, I go to FWA for the third time. This time Yoko's there. Yoko comes with me this time, and we're having a blast. It's the weekend of St. Patrick's Day. So we ended up like walking in the little parade they had in front of the hotel. We crashed it, and I missed the mixed candy like photo shoot because of that. But who cares, man? Like, going into parade is more fun. And if you look at that photo, there's like a little spot where I could have been in, like a clear empty spot, which I thought was funny. We're there, and we're also there with Pizza Shep. Pizza Shep's awesome, so I finally get to hang out with him for a significant amount of time, not just killing time before my bus. And we're going around like cutting ass on everybody. That's what we do. That's what New Yorkers do. We cut ass. We make fun of people. We're like looking for the Gothopotamus, and we're just having our own fun away from like all the main events of the con and stuff. Like at this point, I don't think I was doing the fursuit parade anymore. I wasn't going to panels or anything like that. I wasn't watching the masquerade. During this time, I was having fun on my own. I was just making my own fun with my friends. But me and Yoko did try out for the dance competition that year, and for the first time, I didn't get in. I was dancing to a Savage Garden song called I Want You. And I didn't know choreo, but there was like a few moves that I knew I was going to throw out there. But I wasn't good enough this time, and it was like a wake-up call for me. I was like, what? I didn't make it? I mean, I knew last year I was bad, but this year... And I was sad Yoko didn't make it either. Yoko's an incredible, talented dancer. She should have been in there. But I was like, man, I knew the next con I tried out for, I would have to step my game up. Full throttle. But overall, that was another great con. I don't think I've really had a bad FWA. It's always been pretty good, one way or the other. Even 2012, I forgot to mention I was there with Kat, and it was nice to hang out with him. I was rooming with Lost Fox, or Ryan the Key, and Bonius, and we had a great time. Like, FWA is definitely one of my favorite cons. It's Dance Central, and I love Atlanta, so maybe I'll go back someday. But then April, I think we do the Cherry Blossom Festival again, but this time we're not with the Invite Furs. We're just doing our own thing. Then we go to Delaware Fur Bowl after that with me, Yoko, Twilight, and Natasha. She comes along. Because again, I want her to see more of the fandom. I want to make sure she is enjoying herself safely, making sure there's no creeps out there. And then I wanted to do another Dead Dog Dance because I felt like the first one didn't live up to its full potential. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do another Dead Dog. And I ordered some lights, I got lasers now, and this was at a good time because my neighbors were about to move out, so now we had 2 apartments so that we can host in, plus my backyard. So I'm sending invites to this party to everybody. I'm like, yeah, you gotta come to this Dead Dog Dance, come on. I'm telling people to post it on Facebook, FA, Twitter, all that. So that's what I'm doing in May. And also in May, I decided to attend Elliot's Spring Gathering in Las Vegas. Let me tell you guys, Las Vegas is one of my favorite places to go to, man. Favorite places of all time. And that was my first taste of it. And I went with a few people I knew. Didn't know them too well, but well enough to room with them. And when I got there, I ended up walking the strip by myself just to explore and see everything with my own eyes. It looks different when you're up close and personal than when you watch it in a movie. And my dumbass is wearing boots the whole time. I don't know why I took boots to Vegas. Like, why? But I'm seeing all the lights and all the advertisements, and I'm just getting lost in the fantasy of it all. And it's like, yeah, man, like, this place is beautiful. I saw an advertisement that Neo was going to perform at a nightclub that weekend, so I was like, I'm going. Hell yeah. Elliot's itself, I had more fun just doing Vegas stuff. Elliot's, it's kind of like a bougie furry thing, with a lot of the furries there, they have money. They have dinero. So what we did is, it wasn't your typical con where you're going to masquerade, dance comp, parade. No, we just kind of like hung out. Like there was like a little pool party we did, and at one point everybody went to Caesar's Palace for the buffet. But I didn't join them because Crash from the Furry Cruise, he was also there, and he was debuting his fursuit, and he wanted to go on the strip and show it off and stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna hang out with you, man. Like, some of those other people attending, I just wasn't vibing with them like that. But I love Crash; he's amazing. So eventually, all the suitors from Elliot's, they rented a limo, and they went around, Vegas just doing stuff, goofing off. They went to Fremont Street. But me, Crash, and this other furry, we just walked the strip because I wanted to interact with people. I didn't want to just like hang out of the limo and look cool. I wanted to be hands on and just make sure that people could take pictures with us, and I could like goof around with them and take pictures for me. You know, I got a little video of us just walking around, and I prefer doing that stuff than, you know, just showing off and being flashy. I like interacting with people, being hands-on, boots on the ground. And I dressed up in like a little green vest. And I was looking sharp, man. I'm not gonna lie. I was looking sharp as hell. Eventually, I went to a show called La Rive. That was my first Vegas show, and it was a beautiful show. It's not there anymore because of COVID, man. But it was so breathtaking. Like, it was very in the vein of Cirque du Soleil. You had people jumping from high places into this stage, which would go underwater. And the music was awesome. It was very powerful. A lot of emotion and passion-filled performances. And it's on YouTube if you want to check it out. La Rive is a great show. And then one night I went to the nightclub. I had my first nightclub experience. And let me tell you, it wasn't that great. I almost didn't get in because you needed women with you. I was just by myself. But the guys paid the doorman to get in, and he thought I was part of the entourage, so I got in as well. So it was like 10:30. I bought a $10 bottle of beer, and I was like babying it, nursing it to all hell. And I'm just like in the dance floor, you know, dancing a little. There's like nowhere to sit. Only VIP people can sit. So I'm like waiting, like, where the hell is Neo? And it's midnight and he's still not on, and I'm just like so uncomfortable. I'm like, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not dancing. I can't sit down. I don't want to keep buying expensive drinks, so I just left. It was a bust, man. But I'm glad I tried it at least. You know, no one wanted to come with me, so I'm glad I did. You know, back at the con, they were having like a little dance, and you know, there was this one girl flirting with me there. And again, you know, this is new territory. Like, girls are finally like taking an interest in me, and you know, I'm still adjusting to that. I'm just like, wow, you know, this is cool. I'm not gonna lie, like, I like the attention. She was also interested in this other guy, so I don't know if she was using me to get jealous, or she's just at the buffet lines picking whatever she wants for her plates. Overall, Vegas was a blast, and it wouldn't be the last time I went. No siree. June comes the Dead Dog Dance Step number 2, and it's the hugest party I've ever hosted in my entire life. We had like 54 people show up, and it was one of the hottest days. It wasn't even summer yet. It was like the beginning of June, and it was like 95 degrees even at night. I remember me and Nova, we took turns putting this bag of ice on our head, and you could see it like melting in real time. My former neighbor's apartment was packed. My apartment was packed, and the dance floor was packed. It was madness. Twilight was there. Yoko was there. Xerxes showing up late as always. P Money, Pesky. It was an awesome party, man. TDK, you know, the crew, and then a bunch of NY furs. My coworker from work came, the legendary Brian Walters, who was an actor. He showed up. Had a friend from Baltimore come. It was bananas, man. And everybody was doing the Gangnam Style that summer. That was like the shit back then. And I had a slideshow of pictures of Dream playing on my TV, so to make it feel like his presence was felt. And I had people sign a book for him, writing him messages, and you know, they would say, I miss you, come back, like, what the hell are you doing in DR? Oh man, that party was bananas, man. The music was good. We ordered Little Caesars because that's cheap and it could feed a lot of people. I remember there's this picture of everybody passed out in the other apartment. There's like maybe like 10 people, like people on the floor, people on the desk, like put their heads down. Yo, that that party was legendary. I don't think I'm ever going to top it, man. I got so many pictures from it. I'll definitely be showing some highlights for sure. And it finally, my own dead dog dance, the concept was realized and it came to fruition. I was like, finally. And I lived up to the hype. So, summer of 2013, I'm getting ready for Eurofurence. And I'm practicing my dance moves because I want to get in. Their dance competition is called Enter the Arena. And they only had it twice at this point. The first guy that won was JD Puppy, who's also from New York. And then the second guy was Tyser, who's a Russian fursuiter, and he could do backflips and all types of acrobatics. You know, I was friends with him briefly. He's a chill guy. He was on Ninja Warrior. So I was like, all right, man, like the competition for this is going to be crazy. So I need to practice. So I would do choreography on my dance floor during the summer, you know, and then you had to send in a demo of you dancing. That was basically your audition. So I danced to this song called Leaving You. And I got in the dance competition. I made it. But I wasn't going to dance to that song. No. I was going to dance to a different song. So also that summer, my father, he was acting out. He was being a fool. And, you know, he has a history of drinking and acting like an asshole. And I don't know what came over me, but I don't know. I just had to, like, finally vent out all my frustrations to him once and for all. And in doing so, I realized that he might be the catalyst for me being in the furry fandom in the first place, because my father was just like never there when I needed him most. You know, he never gave me the guidance that I needed, or wasn't there to like show me cool shit, or to just talk to me about, you know, different things like life or girls. He was just busy self-imploding and being destructive to himself. So what I ended up doing is I made him like a confession videos, and I look back on it. It was like 27 minutes long. And I'm venting out all my frustrations with him, and I'm tired of him just acting like a dick to his friends and family. And, you know, I accused him of making me the way I am. Like, this is why I am, because of you, you know. Maybe if you were there and you showed me a little more attention, maybe I would have turned out differently. Maybe I wouldn't be in the furry fandom. Maybe my life would be very different. But at the same time, it's like, it's given me so many good things. So, should I thank him, or should I just berate him for not being there? I don't know. But I had to mention that because it was like a important thing that happened. He saw the video, and, you know, he didn't say much. He just apologized a bunch of times. You know how parents are. When they got nothing to say, they just say, I'm sorry. Sorry sometimes isn't good enough. And finally, 10 years ago, in August 2013, I attend Eurofurence all the way in Germany by myself. I don't know anybody there. I'm rooming with someone I met from FAU, or Fur Affinity. And yeah, like I take a plane to Russia. There's a layover that's like 10 hours, and then I go to Germany, barely any sleep, get on a train to Magdeburg, and somehow I make it to the con, and one piece, without dying, without getting lost. And I'm finally at Eurofurence, the European convention, and the theme is Hawaii. So, you know, I couldn't find my good skirt, so I had to wear like a really shitty one. But these guys know how to draw a con. Like, they know how to follow the theme to the T. They had a whole surf simulator in that bitch. I was impressed. And then they had the panels and events. They streamed it in the hotel, so you could watch on TV if you don't feel like going down there. You know, this is before all the other cons started doing it. These guys were trendsetters. They knew their shit. They knew how to run a con properly. So again, I'm just like practicing my dance moves and stuff for Enter the Arena. And I don't think I'm gonna place, I don't expect myself to place. If I do, it's like, okay, I hope I get third place. That would be really cool for me to place. So I think there's 14 contestants, and I think I'm like the 8th one. So I go in, and I dance to a song Yoko sent me. It's called Adventure Time. It's by an artist called Rogue, and it's like an EDM track. But for some reason, I was just like, this is it. This is the one. This is the song I'm going to dance to. So I started practicing in my backyard, in my living room. And as soon as I hit that stage, it was over, man. I hit most of my marks. My foot came off, but I didn't let that stop me. I kicked it away, and I slid, which I told myself I wouldn't do again because it fucks up my fursuit. But when I slide, it takes the fur off. But I did it anyway, and I ripped my vest open in a crazy finish. And the host of this thing was like really low energy. I don't know why they got him to host it. This guy was really low energy, but he gave me compliments, and then I gave him a New York City condom that was in my pocket. And then there's another round where you have to battle someone to a song you've never heard of. It's just a random song the judges pick. So I battled this short girl. I forgot what her name is, but she was a sweetheart. And we just had fun with it, I didn't want to like battle her. I wanted to like kind of like dance with her, kind of like, hey, let's give them a show instead of being competitive. And it was great. I took off my vest. I gave it to somebody. I think someone motorboated me. And then after that, we got the results. And third place went out to somebody, the guy who did a lot of spins. And then second place, or was it the guy who did the belly dance? I don't know. Then second place went out, and I was like, all right, well, I didn't place, so, I guess I'll be humble. I'm glad I get to compete on this international stage with all these really nice people. But then they said my fucking name for first place. I was like, get the hell out of here. No way. I won a dance competition. After not even qualifying for the one in FWA, I was shook to my core, bro. I can't believe I won. And I was just like, this is awesome, And a girl came up to me after the show because I interacted with her in my dance. Her name was Natalie. She was a sweetheart. And this other dude, this army guy, we went out to eat. We went out to like a steakhouse to like celebrate and stuff. And I was just feeling like I was on top of the world, nothing could happen, right? Like nothing bad could happen. But then I had this dream that I'm like 50 years old. I have gray hair, and I'm like in my mother's old room, and I have all these fursuits in the closet. They have sheaths on them, and there's like furry plushies everywhere, furry artwork everywhere, and I'm like, what is happening? What's going on? And then my nephew comes in all grown up telling me that, you dedicated your life to furry, like this is all you know. And he tells me my mom is gone, my dad is gone, my cousin is gone, and it's just me by myself. I never got married, I never had any kids. I was just always about the furry lifestyle. So I'm like, no, this can't be. So I run out the room, and I hear people talking about me. It's my protege's like daughter in the future saying like, yeah, this guy's a loser. He just hangs out at furry cons, trying to relive his glory days, of being this awesome fursuiter and stuff. And I'm like, that's not me. There's much more to that to me than just suiting and furry stuff. And then eventually I find myself back in the Eurofurence hotel getting chased by these zombie anthropomorphic creatures, man. Like zombie wolves, zombie panthers, zombie cheetahs. And I'm getting chased throughout the hotel, but I hear this very familiar voice. And it's a stoic, like calm, stern voice. And it's trying to guide me to safety. So I find this door that has the crest of courage on it, and I'm running towards the door. I'm running, and then these steel cables grab me by the wrist, grab me by the leg, grab me by the throat, and they drag me back towards the zombies. I just had a Greymuzzle nightmare. Yeah. What happens next? Gonna have to find out.